why would we continue to be close? Okay, separate us. But you have white people that are like, no, segregation is wrong. Why? Because your life has changed because of proximity. Are you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you get this now? Are you tracking? The segregation thing has nothing to do with black people and everything to do with trying to put white people back in their place.
I'm super pasty right now. You cannot tell. All the serpent seed guys on here, like, man, they're not purebred white guys. They're not Aryan or whatever they think they're supposed to be. It's just, you're setting an impossible standard for yourself. BHI or serpent seed, like, it's just ridiculous. The Son of God literally told you he could raise up sons for Abraham out of stones. So stop looking into the freaking genealogies, trying to find something, some sort of smoking gun that, you know, your color is the chosen. It's so kindergarten. It's ridiculous. It's Acts 10, Hosea 2, Romans 11.
All the white restaurants are getting closed down because guess what? We do the cooking. We bring the flavor, we bring the seasoning, we bring the sauce because we are the salt of the earth. Again, y'all music is, oh my God, what music I forgot. You steal everything, culture vultures. If we separate, what exactly do you all have?
2 Corinthians 6:17. King James Version says this, "Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you." This verse is part of Paul's exhortation to the Corinthians, arguing them to separate themselves from worldly influence and impurity in order to maintain a close relationship with God. It emphasizes holiness and obedience as conditions for divine acceptance. The video I'm going to play to you today, I'm going to react on a video of a black lady saying that segregation is a disadvantage to white people, not black people. And she has went ahead and say why she feels so. And a white person came down there and replied her. She has made some good points, and I think she's right. And she has used this verse to justify her comments. Now, she's saying white people are living in the back of black people. And when we are being segregated, it will be tough on them. Let's watch this video and then we will talk about it.
Y'all funny. Segregation. Are you serious? But y'all not ready. Before I even move forward, first of all, segregation is biblical. The Most High, he always wanted the children of Israel to be separated from all the nations, you know. But you went into captivity and forgot who you were and started getting comfortable amongst your enemy, mingling and marrying and mixing and having children with them. But y'all really not ready for segregation. Y'all can't even separate in that area. But let's move forward. Okay, let's just think about this. White supremacy was built off treating blacks bad or feeling superior to blacks, so-called blacks. So if segregation took effect, white supremacy is out the door. It's trash. You can just ball it up and throw it away. Why? Because it's solely based off your false pride and superiority over so-called blacks. Uh-oh. Now you gotta sit and deal with your own bullshit. No more blaming black people for your problems that pre-existed 10 years before you ever met them. Secondly, I just want to know what so-called black is eating at an all-white restaurant. Oh, wait. Yeah, all the white restaurants are getting closed down because guess what? We do the cooking. We bring the flavor, we bring the seasoning, we bring the sauce because we are the salt of the earth. Again, y'all music is, oh my God, what music I forgot. You steal everything, culture vultures. If we separate, what exactly do you all have? How can you live? See, but we'll be just fine per usual. We always fine. We chill. We the salt of the earth. Y'all take from us. We don't take from you. And if we're separated, in due time, you are going to become extinct. The only way you're surviving now is through mixing. And speaking of mixing, what are all the interracial marriages and relationships going to do? I'll wait. Because you know that's a sin too, to be mixing with the nations. You're supposed to stick with your own kind anyways. And then, I think that's enough for y'all to swallow. At the end of the day, the Most High spoke to the children of Israel, said, be ye separate, holy, because he's holy. Separate from your enemy. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. All this has to happen. The Most High, he is dividing, he's separating. He's sifting and seething. He's taking his, he's tucking us away. So I'm not even mad about it. I know they're saying that the ban was lifted for federal contractors, and a lot of people are taking it to now segregation is legal again. Whichever, whoever, however y'all want to do it. At the end of the day, we gonna be good. As always. Think about Black Wall Street. Y'all not ready? Y'all really not ready. Y'all couldn't handle it then, and you damn sure can't handle it now. It's 2025. Hey, we not our ancestors, okay? We not taking none of that. And so with that being said, we got to move real wisely. Do not let... Trump is a antagonist, okay? Every executive bill he passed is poking, is provoking, is antagonizing someone, somewhere, some country, some state. If not blacks, then whites. Trump is full of war. His words are smooth as butter, but war is in his heart. This man is a man of war. He want nothing more than to start a civil war. Like I said, back to my dream, he will start World War III because it's evil in his heart. Just look at the things that he's doing. But again, back to the topic. Y'all really not ready for segregation. Stop playing with yourselves. We ready. We been ready. We been ready to have our own thing away from y'all. We ain't got to deal with y'all. Y'all ain't got to deal with us. And we would be absolutely okay with that. Where we sign up at? I'm just saying. Shalom. You know, but you went into captivity and forgot who you were.
It's exactly the point. Israel was cut out of Israel. The northern kingdom of Israel was cut out for doing idolatry, scattered into the Gentiles, which is the mystery of the gospel of salvation to the whole world. Because the bloodline of Israel intermixed into all the different nationalities, the promise to Abraham can be fulfilled that all nations, tongues, kindreds, and people will be his seed. You know what I mean? Like, the plan of salvation has always been Israel falling so that the Gentile can be grafted in because of the intermixing of the bloodline. And to think that your skin color 6,000 years after the fact has anything to do with it is just ridiculous, man. Like, I get real dark. I'm super pasty right now. You cannot tell. All the serpent seed guys on here, like, man, they're not purebred white guys. They're not Aryan or whatever they think they're supposed to be. It's just, you're setting an impossible standard for yourself. BHI or serpent seed, like, it's just ridiculous. The Son of God literally told you he could raise up sons for Abraham out of stones. So stop looking into the freaking genealogies, trying to find something, some sort of smoking gun that, you know, your color is the chosen. It's so kindergarten. It's ridiculous. It's Acts 10, Hosea 2, Romans 11. Nation state, or northern kingdom Israel was cut out so that the Gentiles could be saved. Can the Ethiopian change the skin? No. Can the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. The Messiah, His blood is what makes you Israel. Obedience to the holy covenants of promise is what makes you Israel. Loving your neighbors yourself is what makes you born of God. And you can't love your neighbors yourself if you think your neighbors are only a people with like certain melatonin level. Not melatonin, melanin. My bad. I'm not a smart guy. Acts 10, Isaiah 56, even in Jubilees it tells you that the strangers that Abraham could have bought with money, whether it be black guys or white guys, I don't care. The strangers, the Canaanites and the whatever the sons of Japheth would be called, if he bought them and they obeyed God, they were his seed. All he had to do was buy them with money, and they could be accounted for his seed. You do not want to set this standard for yourself of you need to be a certain skin color, because you cannot attain that. It is out of your control. You cannot go back and change your genealogy. I literally could not care less if a scripture in the Old Testament says ruddy or bronze, and yet you're as annoying with these doctrines, the UBHI and serpent seed people, as the Christians with their Trinity. Like, oh, God's his own son. This is all I'm ever going to talk about. By the way, let's have a big feast. You're not supposed to be doing the feast. This is why you're so broken in judgment. It's because you're coveting after these damn feasts. You have to make all these other pieces line up. Like, where's the Holy Land? How does the calendar work? When does a day begin? You have to twist all that to make your feasts work. And you're not even supposed to be doing the feasts. You're supposed to be warning the Christian people to keep the 10 Commandments. And only the 10 Commandments. The law is fulfilled in loving your neighbors yourself, which means to rebuke sin. Because it doesn't matter if you have a fence on your roof. What matters is you fulfill the spirit of the law of Moses. And the whole law of Moses is fulfilled in loving your neighbors yourself according to Leviticus 19:15-18. Not in literally building a fence on your roof and literally having your crops grown separately and your cattle stored separately and your garments worn separately. Ignorant people that just think you're so puffed up and smart by going to the letter of the law. Obviously, there's a group of unjust stewards. Who do you think the unjust steward is that scatters the flock by telling them to do too much? Who could that be?
Okay, so I have seen some really, really great think pieces and narratives and jokes about this whole segregation thing. But I want to be able to let you know that the whole segregation thing has nothing to do with black people and has everything to do with white people. Follow me, okay? So it reminds me of Toni Morrison, who is my favorite author. She is a black author, but she is my favorite author, period. And she was being interviewed by a white woman. And essentially the white woman asked, like, when are you going to elevate your writing and include the white perspective in it, like, or the right, or the white gaze in it, as she would say. And Toni Morrison replied that I'm not. Because Toni Morrison believed that her books could be read by everybody, but she wrote her books for black people. And if you're not a part of black culture, there are certain things within our culture that mandates explanation so that those that are not a part of our culture can understand it. Toni Morrison took that out of her writing. So she said, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, then you don't. But I'm only writing through the black lens for the black experience and the black gaze. That is it. And so when the lady asked that question, Toni Morrison said, I'm never going to do that. And the reality is that black people live very, very full lives and white people aren't even a thought. Like, black people tend to live their lives in a way where we do not think about what white people are doing. And that is very true. It is very factual. A lot of black people only interact with white people because they go to work with them. Right? So if they do not work with white people and you're black, how many times are you socializing with white people outside of work? For a lot of black people, you don't really socialize a lot of times at work, after work, with white people. And so when you have that reality, then it begs for you to be able to go down a line of questioning, right? Which is, what is the issue with segregation? And I've seen some white people on here that was like, white people should be saying that segregation is bad. And the reality is that no, that's not really the problem, right? Because the problem is that we were separate and not equal. That's the problem. It was the maltreatment. Because the reality is that we are no longer segregated, but yet we are still mistreated. We still are not offered the same amount of opportunities. We are still not paid the same rate. We are still not afforded the equality of it. So what white people did was, okay, fine. We will desegregate. It's fine. But once black people entered these spaces, we were still being mistreated. And so the question could actually be, if we had equality, right? If we had equal access to buying land, equal access to be able to garner wealth, equal pay, and we were never desegregated, would desegregation actually be necessary? And there is when you take a look at what was happening with the Tulsa riot, is the fact that black people were equal and separate. Right? They had land, they had businesses, they were accruing wealth. It was the wealthiest black community. And white people who were not a part of the community, very much separate, and yet we are equal, right? They have banks, they have people that build, they have people that, grocery stores, they have houses, they have neighborhoods, they have milkmen, they have mailmen. White people have their own neighborhoods. White people have their own businesses. White people have their own groceries. White people have their own things. Separate, but very much equal. And white people looked over and said, what are they doing over there? And bombed it. Right? Because otherwise, if black people continue on prospering on their own, why would any black person say, I need to be over there? There's an argument for that. And so then when you look further, taking a look at desegregation, right? Whose lives improved due to closer proximity of white and black people? White people. Their lives improved. Their logic improved. All of a sudden, they begin to be enlightened on the reality of the fact that they themselves were lied to. Otherwise, had they not come into proximity with black people, there is no reason for them to believe that their ancestors ever did anything wrong. Or there's also no reason to believe that they are more like black people than what they were told. Because many, many years ago, the Republican Party, right, they said that the way that you are able to steal from poor white people is to convince them that they're better than black people. And if you can convince them of that, you can steal money from out of their pockets and they would never notice. So here we are, where we are no longer desegregated. And you see all over this app where you have white people that are learning a lot about historical truths that black people already knew. We already knew these things. But you have white people on a daily that are like, I didn't know that. That's not what I was taught. I wasn't taught that, right? You have whole religious sects of people that were literally taught that the Civil War was not about slavery. You literally have all of these white people that had no clue that Juneteenth existed, or why it existed, or how many years it actually took post-emancipation for the last slave to actually be freed. Proximity has caused for a lot of the misinformation fed to white people to perpetuate racism, to be dismantled. And so you literally have people that are white nationalists. I need you to follow. You literally have people that are white nationalists that are now running the Republican Party, right? In order for them to bring white people back into subjugation, we have to separate them from minorities, because they are learning truths that causes it to be extremely difficult for us to tell them that black people are subservient, because proximity means that you are able to identify where we overlap. Now they're understanding the humanity of minorities, and now they're not going to go along with the Aryan beliefs that white people are the elite race and they are better than another ethnic group and they deserve to have things by virtue of them being white. Do you see how segregation has nothing to do with black people and has everything to do with getting white people back in line? Are you understanding what's going on here? Because it's never for the sake of black people, which is why black people is like, we cool. Segregate, separate, illuminate, elucidate, do whatever you got to do. And that is a very true reality, because we have only known desegregation. But we have also only known that when we're in your proximity, we are still killed. We are still murdered. We are still mistreated. We are still shunned. We do not have the same access, even though we are in closer proximity. So if our lives have not changed by becoming in closer proximity, why would we continue to be close? Okay, separate us. But you have white people that are like, no, segregation is wrong. Why? Because your life has changed because of proximity. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Do you get this now? Are you tracking? The segregation thing has nothing to do with black people and everything to do with trying to put white people back in their place.
Welcome back. Certainly, the belief of segregation might affect white people more than black people. I believe it. I have been believing it. I've been believing too. White supremacy, it's affecting black people or white people more than white people. I've been believing the privileges that white people are getting, the unearned privileges, it's affecting them more than it's affecting white people. And one of the normal sense is that black people, they work hard for everything they get. Black people, they are go-getters. Black people or black community at large, they ain't scared. In any situation, they will come and they will pass. In any situation, they will penetrate. So black people are full force. They are hardcore. And this life needs someone who, or some people who are, people who are hardcore. And I believe black people are one of the people. And these unearned privileges that white people are getting, it's affecting them, affecting their generation. Because they are living soft life. And they only think this is about softing. Ain't soft, you know? So being a white person who is enjoying the privileges, who is enjoying the white supremacy, at the end of the day, when the tables stand down, it will backfire to them. And that's why we're saying this. Black people ain't or won't be affected with this segregation if it will come back more than white people. Now, why do I feel white people will be so much affected? Segregation will have more negative impact to white people more than us, black people. It's because of this. Number one is because of the historical context and power imbalance. Now, historically, segregation was used to maintain a racial hierarchy where white people held most of the economic, social, and political power, often at the direct expenses of black communities. Now, if segregation were to return today in a more extreme form, many black people might urge that it will diminish the power structures that currently benefit white people. They may see it as an opportunity for more equal distribution of resources, wealth, and opportunities which were denied to black people. That's what some black people think. I don't know if it's right, but I believe that too. Bringing back segregation, it's like most of black individuals, those who are cheering it, they feel, or white people right now are more dependent on the current racial status, where segregation is not official, but racial inequalities persist to maintain their privileges. That's for sure. Segregation is not opened. It's not legal, but it's being done. It is being done. A lot of areas are, going through this segregation. So I think if the status quo were disrupted by reimposing segregation, white people might face challenges to their social dominance, and this could be perceived as negative for them. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Return of segregation could lead to redistribution of power, wealth, and social status. As I was saying, when we are mingling, black and white people, when we are socializing, white people and black together, there is this racial system that is being formed even right now. So white people are enjoying the dominance, the privilege of bossing around black people because they are working together. And segregation is illegal, so they are doing it. And black people ain't saying something because they are supposed to be here. But when segregation comes back, that means we will have restaurant for white people and this for black people only. So no bossing around. No bossing around. The distribution of wealth and power, like white people will have to do their own things, black people their own things. And right now, black people, we know a lot of things. Black people ain't living to those eras of 1960s or 1970s. Right now, black people have thrived. They are owning businesses. They have companies, have invented things. Black people have say in the community. So it will be scary to white people because we will see their weakness. Now, bringing back segregation too may affect white people psychological. That's how I think it. Because from a psychological and a social perspective, many black people may feel that segregation would force white people to face the consequences of their own history of privilege. This could include the loss of certain privileges that many white people are enjoying or take it for granted, such as proximity to economic power and social influence. In contrast, black people, having been denied these privileges for so long, may already feel accustomed to coping up with the systems, of racial disadvantages. Black people right now, they have already coped up with the system, but white people haven't coped up with that. So it will affect them mentally to cope up with everything. It will affect them psychologically. And their children, they'll be caught on this mix. The younger generation, the white younger generation, they will be caught up on this mix, ecological effects. So I believe that privileges or the segregation, as we all think, it's of help to white people, but again, it will have some negative impact to them. Now, for example, there's work, we are working somewhere, we have a company, maybe whites and black are working together. And white people are getting advantages of wages. White people are getting advantages of holding higher positions than how they have qualified, So black people, whether you are qualified or not, you ain't getting what you need to get. So white people are enjoying that and earned privilege. So when there's this segregation, if it may come back, that means where white people are enjoying higher wages than black people and the black people doing the job, it will be over. Because as white, you will need to do that job so that you can enjoy that wage. That means that you will be paid according to how you work. But white people but black people have already this in their blood. They don't care. Already they have coped up with this. Whether they work harder, whether they work many hours, it's okay with them. But white people it will be very hard for them to embrace this. So I believe what this lady said, black lady, that segregation will be more disadvantages to white people than to black people. I think I'm making sense. Another thing, hospitals, schools, farms, a lot of black people are the one working there. The white people are the one enjoying the salaries and the money and the returns and the profits. And now it will be time for everyone to handle their own shit, to handle their own problem. And white have been enjoying this privilege for so long, so it will be hard for them to come across and start enjoying, It will take a lot of time for them to start enjoying their work of their own hand, because Black people have been doing it for them all along. Black people have been working their kitchens. Black people have been working on their grocery stores. Black people have been working the dirty jobs that they call it dirty jobs. And white people have been enjoying the white collar jobs. So in this situation, everyone will be handling their own problem. I don't know what you say on the comment section. Tell me what you think about that video, okay? I don't have so much points on this, but I think we will talk on the comment section. Until next episode, peace out. Pause. Stop picture. Hey. According to the scripture I read earlier, that even the Bible itself supports segregation. Those who believe in the Bible, for those who believe in God, for those who believe in Muslim and everything, everyone believe in his or her own kingdom. So tell me, if you are a Christian, is it true that the Bible supports segregation? Like white people, some of them are using that scripture to say that segregation is like this because it is written. And some black people are saying this is ours, that we need to separate ourselves from white people, okay? And the white people who responded to that video said that this narrative of us black people saying that we are the chosen generation, it is not like legit. So I don't know what he was implying, but at the end of the day, I believe all those white people who are or black people who are celebrating or cheering because segregation may be back, there is something they know. They know that they will not get so much affected. They know that they have been going through this problem. They know that they can endure anything. They know they can cope up with any situation. Like some white people have been racist. Black people have been facing inequalities in hospitals, schools, economic. We have been having all these wealth gaps simply because the system is working on the benefit of the white people. But now if this comes to pass, this means that black people will be thinking of their own shit. Black people will be thinking of their own problems. No more thinking how this white person will eat. No more thinking how they will do this. Because we have been there working for them. But I'm happy that black people can do anything without mingling into white people's business. So when we are being segregated, that means black people will thrive on their own without thinking. Some of white people, the system, they love or they always think of what black man is doing. Like, okay. These black people having this meeting, what are they talking about? They always think they are scared. Like, okay, Africa have got new president. Is he good? Why are you scared? Why do you always think of issues of black people? So whatever black man or a black people are doing, they are not even shaken with what white people will think of them. They just go ahead, because personally, we as black people, we never think what black people is thinking or white people are doing. Do our own, because we are doing most of the work, like 90% of the work black people are the one doing. So we know each and every corner. We know everywhere. Okay? So I think I will support that black lady saying that it will be so disadvantageous to white people, because I've been saying that all along on all my videos. Okay?